Hey, Lonnie Stevenson here for the 12th annual Havasu Balloon Fest coming up. I have with me Gary Moore, that is going to be your Balloonmeister, and Steve Ticknor, the Executive Director of the Balloon Fest. Steve, what's our dates this year?
This year we are going to be starting next Thursday, January 19th through Sunday, January 22nd.
And the dates or the times that we're going to start on Thursday?
So Thursday starts at noon and goes till 10 p.m. And then Friday and Saturday are all day, starting at 6 a.m. all the way through 10 p.m. And then Sunday is 6 a.m. through 3 p.m. And wraps up at 3 p.m.
Tickets for the event can be purchased in advance or at the gate?
They can be both. So tickets right now are available at the Balloon Fest store on McCulloch Boulevard through Tuesday the 17th at 4 p.m. After that, you'll have to just wait, and you can certainly buy them at the gate when we open up.
And what about bringing stuff in? What?
Things like alcoholic beverages and outside food are not allowed. We also do not allow smoking, no skateboards, no bicycles, things like that.
Chairs okay?
Chairs should be okay, yeah.
Okay. And Gary,
yeah.
Balloonmeister. So it's an official sounding name. What is it? What does Balloonmeister mean?
I'm in charge of flight operations. We hold a pilot briefing before each meeting. We do a roll call of the pilots. We check I have a couple weather guys that help me out. One up from Canada. He's a lot of fun. He does the weather for me. So we're once that briefing is done, we decide if we can fly or not. And so basically, Balloonmeister means balloon boss. I just have to make the hard decision whether we fly or we don't, depending on what weather we're getting.
So let's walk through that, because weather's obviously the elephant in the room that we're constantly fighting.
Yep.
So I'm up at my house, and I go out my back patio, and it seems calm.
Yes.
But balloons aren't flying, so sometimes people are frustrated, and there's a lot more to it than just
That is exactly right. It's not just the ground wind. The upper winds can be too fast in the bad direction, which would take us right into the lake at high speeds. So the ground wind is not the only thing we look at. We look at the winds all the way up to a couple thousand feet. We've got a little helium balloon we put up. They've got a machine they look at it with and gives us our wind speed and direction each flight. And so we have to make that decision based on multiple things. And also, is there a storm and a rain in the forecast and these kind of things. So we look at the big picture. Number one thing we want to do, and we've done all the time, is be safe. Now, if that ground wind is good and we can't fly because of the upper winds, we've got a lot of good pilots here who will inflate their balloon on the field, so if you're out there, you can still get up close and personal with a lot of the balloons and talk to the crews and talk to the pilots, and you'll learn a lot about the balloons. We've got guys that come that will do everything they can to put on a show, whether or not we fly or not.
And that's the one great thing about this event is it is extremely friendly. The pilots are always great as far as taking care of kids. A lot of them have cards that they hand out.
Exactly, and we've tried to be very good with that. We tried to, the people we wanted to bring in. As one example, Dave and Kathy Reinecke, their husband and wife, both pilots, they've been at every event. And they come from Champaign, Illinois to do that. And they've been at every event. Also, they have the same sponsor that they've had all that time, because our pilots develop these relationships with our sponsor, and as everybody knows, no event happens without good sponsorship money. And so these guys have tied in with them, and we have multiple examples of that, but that's a shining one because they've been here every one and they have the same sponsor.
Yeah. Part of organizing this event is volunteers.
Yeah, volunteers are really the lifeblood of our event. We have over 1,200 volunteers typically every year, filling several thousand different shifts. We are still in need of a few volunteers. We probably have 300 to 400 volunteers that we need. There's a couple different ways you can volunteer. Number one would be to go to www.havasuballoonfest.org, and you can search for shifts on there.
And you don't have to volunteer for the whole weekend, but
right.
You do get a pass to come out to the event all weekend.
Yes.
For volunteering. You can volunteer for a couple shifts. You can come out to volunteer to help with the balloons, and we would like to have you be with one balloon all weekend if you have the time, because that allows us to train them at the beginning and use them for the whole weekend, and you'll develop great relationships with the pilot.
And volunteers get a pass to the event.
Yep, they get a pass. It's good for all 4 days, and the highly coveted volunteer T-shirt. So don't forget that.
Those are collector's items
are collector's
at the end of the event. How many balloons do we have scheduled this year?
We've got 78 right now. We've had a couple last-minute cancellations, and so but we've always got a list of people that want to come, and again we vet them really well. We want to be sure they're the type of people that will work with our event, work with our sponsors really well.
And shaped balloons are always
we've got eight shapes that we've brought in. We've got a couple guys that just wanted to come and bring their shape and fly, so we've got 10 shapes. A couple of them will be flying all the time, but to see all the shapes together, you need to come out to the event site. They inflate on the field and they stay there for 30 minutes, and if they like the winds and they still feel like flying and the winds are good, they'll take off and fly some. But if you want to see them all together and get up close and personal and take some pictures of them,
yeah, it's
come
really
out
cool.
to the event.
Very cool.
And that is key. The only way to really get an up close
Exactly.
of the shaped event, of the shaped balloons
with the group of them together, that's at the
event.
field.
At the event, right on. Steve, what else is going on besides the balloons flying? What else is going on?
Oh man, we have really something for everybody. I mean, there's live entertainment. We have a food court with all kinds of different foods. Some new vendors have come in this year, so that's going to be exciting. We have our carnival. We have everything from car shows to arts and crafts, and you know, several dozen vendors are going to be there with all their goods, and so that should be really interesting and fun.
When I first sat down, at that time I was the only balloonist in town. I sat down with the Lions Club and Rotary, and they said, we want to do a balloon festival, could you help us? And so I stole every good idea I could ever have from any balloon event I ever went to, and we tried to build this really good event. They were so good about it, and I told them, you've got to have more activities than balloons, because weather can shut an event down. I've gone to events before and watched it rain the whole weekend. You know, so basically these guys have done it in the best they could. All 12 years, it's been really great with all the extra things they plan, music on the stage, all these things. So it's a really fun event, even if the balloons don't get to fly. It's a fun event.
Yeah.
And a list of all the events. How can someone get a list of all the events?
So they can go onto our website, and they can find the complete schedule of events. If you come out to the event, we have a program guide, and also this year we have a brand new app. So everything, all the bands are listed on the app, all the events, the complete schedule for each and every day is on the app.
And there's a main stage, there's a field area for some demonstrations.
Yep, there's canine demonstrations, there's singers, there's all kinds of stuff going on not just on the main stage, but off on the grass field as well.
Okay. Somebody wants a balloon ride, wants to ride in a balloon.
Okay,
what does that look like?
You have to come to the field. You have to get in line. It's a first come, first served, and all of our pilots have sponsor responsibilities too. So when their sponsors can come out and fly, they have to prioritize them. But you have to get in line at the ride tent, at the field, to get a chance at a balloon ride. And of course the weather, you know, is the whole.
That's the big one.
That's the big one. Yeah. But beyond that, you have to get there early enough to get in line, because it's always a variable how many pilots are going to fly passengers.
So there's no way to get a ticket for a balloon ride a day in advance.
No,
it's got
not
to be
at all.
that morning and see how many balloons
we
are
tried that
available.
the first year, and it turned into a mess, because you ended up having people who got canceled there thinking they're going to get to move to the next slot, but all the slots were full, and so we couldn't do that. So finally we just said, let's just do it on a first come, first serve.
Another great option though, Lonnie, is we do have tethered balloon rides. So we have 3 balloons this year, is that correct?
Yes.
Great.
I think they're going to have 2 going on at the same time and allow each pilot to fly once in a while.
Yeah, so that's another option. It's only $20 for that. You get to go up about 50 or 75 feet,
Yes.
something like that. So that still kind of gives you the feel, even if the balloons can't fly that day.
It's a nice thing to go and do with your kids. That's a little more
Yes.
economical than a full balloon ride.
And if somebody has some apprehensions about, oh my gosh, I think I get sick if I get up 400 or 500, 600 feet, it's good to really get a feel for what it's like to go up. And for the younger kids, maybe.
It's one of the things that, you know, we people that sell balloon rides, it's a tease. You may get up there and go like, you know, I want to do this now, you know. And some people get up there and say, no way, you know.
On those perfect days when we get up, the channel area is a kind of a popular area
Yeah,
for a lot of the pilots to go to, and they like to do what's called
the splash and dash.
Yep.
And the balloons, you know, they come here, they want that picture of their balloon with the London Bridge. That's kind of a goal of every pilot that gets here. And from the first year on, when we started, you know, with Facebook was already going on and everything, and when you would get balloons in the air over around these mountains and this water, and boats out there bringing the balloons back if they were playing, when those pictures hit the thing, all the pilots wanted to come to this event, you know, and people just love it. And so again, it's a variable as far as how people, you know, a lot of people just don't want anything to do with heights.
And one little other note on that is during the splash and dash, a lot of people like to get out there on the channel in their boats and things like that, try and get close to the balloons and get pictures. That's totally fine. However, we just please ask that you keep your distance a little bit, just to give these guys a little space. Sometimes people tend to get a little too close, and we just for safety's sake want to.
And we have assigned boats out there to assist the balloons to come back to land if the wind won't bring them back. Please don't do that if you haven't been trained and haven't been a part of that.
Yeah.
What about people that, there's been some drones in the past?
Yeah, you know, the only drones that are there are somebody that's been authorized to take some videos there. We do not want them there. It just puts another hindrance into the balloon flying. There's been instances of them hitting balloons and they can tear them. So on the field, and we'd rather not, they didn't do it anywhere in the city, but on the fields especially, we don't want drones around the balloons.
And when it's time for a balloon to land,
they will land. They'll land wherever they can. They'll land on the side streets. Havasu's good because the power lines aren't on those streets, and they'll land on the streets. Please be patient. Give them some time. Yeah. You know, it doesn't take them long to get that down and out of the way, and if you can find another route around, just talk to them. They're all really good. If you got kids with you and you want them to help with the balloon, they can do that. They'll bring them in and show them how it works. So just be patient with us. We're only here for a weekend. Have some fun and welcome them to Havasu.
And there's an entire army of chase vehicles out there trying to keep up.
Everybody's trying to follow their own personal balloon and be there when they land, because that's
be
the safety
kind
factor.
to the chase vehicles. They usually are identified, have their flashers on, and easily.
And we've also got glows planned. We have enough pilots that we are able to divide them into 3 groups. So we have glows planned all 3 evenings. You know, again, everything's weather dependent, but even if they can't put the balloons up, we'll have what we call a candlestick in the burners. You can still come out and go around and see how the balloons operate. So we'll do whatever we can again to put on a show for people when they come out.
Yeah. Steve, tell me a little bit about why do we put this festival together?
Absolutely. So,
is it just make Steve a bunch of money at the end of the day?
Well, I wish, but no, it's a much bigger cause than that. Anyways, as Gary mentioned earlier, the Balloon Fest was formed by the Lions Rotary, and now the Kiwanis Club is also involved with us. They've been doing great. All the money, we're a non-profit organization, so this is not a for-profit. All the money that's raised from the Balloon Fest goes right back into local charities and organizations right here in Lake Havasu. To date, we've raised over $1.2 million that we've given back since the start of the first Balloon Festival, so we're very proud of that number, and we're the last few years we've been able to do probably close to $200,000 a year on average back into the community. So a lot of our organizations depend on that money, and we're very happy to support them, and by you coming out and supporting our organization, that really helps the community as well.
Steve, you had mentioned earlier about sponsors are a big part of the event, and there's a number of sponsors, but there's one big one that we really couldn't do this event without.
Absolutely. We have too many sponsors to list, and they all are fantastic. We appreciate each and every one of them. However, our number one sponsor, title sponsor, Anderson Toyota, we can't thank you enough for all your support every year. You guys are awesome, and we really appreciate it.
Sponsors are the lifeblood of a balloon festival, of a lot of festivals around town. Those are the lifeblood of an event. Listen for this sound.
Lots going on, January 19th through the 22nd. That's Gary, that's Steve, I'm Lonnie. We look forward to seeing everybody out at the 12th annual Havasu Balloon Fest.
See you out there.
Thank you.